Well, good morning or good afternoon or welcome back, Exotic Car Play Place. Today, we're going to do a build your own because I've been shopping for Lexus vehicles recently, and a lot of you really do love the brand. On top of it, I recently did a video that was about the only three Lexus vehicles that I would personally own. That's right, the only three that I would buy. There's quite a few models to choose from, but I want to give you the select version, one of the specific models in the top three. And of course, I'll link the video at the end if you haven't yet seen it, but it's a very popular video about one of the three that I would buy. And this one specifically, I want to do a build your own today, but I want to do it with your help. You see, I want to reach out to each and every one of you, and I'll be watching in the comment section down below, realistically, for some support. I'm looking for a little help to build our own new Lexus. And why don't we just start with that right now and start to look at what kind of options we have here for building our own. Good morning. Cheers from Saskatoon. Hey, Gordon, great to hear from you. Right on. Still showing here. Perfect. Or snowing, sorry. Yeah, we got a break from in Alberta here from the snow. A little bit of a reprieve, but it's still cold. It's really, really cold. So you know what? What we're going to do is we are going to do a screen share here shortly with you guys. I'm just going to find the options here for that. And we're going to do a little screen share as far as the video specifically. I want to get you dialed in so you can as well look at what kind of options we have here for what Lexus is selling in 2026. Because let's be honest, it's not. Things are changing in the car world, right? Things are changing in the car world. What's going on here? Things are changing, unfortunately, way too much. And what we've seen is that the ability to get an old school simple car is becoming harder and harder. So buying a Lexus is still kind of what we know and appreciate as being reliable. There's not a lot of these reliable vehicles left these days. Lexus, even though they've had some troubles, let's be honest, they have had their share of issues, but they still have some decent vehicles. So let me just see here. I'm going to share, build your own Lexus configurator and share. Here we go. So are you able to see me, everybody? I have that up on the screen. We have the Lexus configurator. Let me know if you can see that. Hi, the new Lexus GX 550 Luxury Plus, still a good choice. So I'm going to answer that question very quickly. I've done videos on that. 3 Lexuses I would buy and 3 I definitely wouldn't buy right now. Now, if we look at this, the configurator, we have a whole pile here of vehicles. We have the UXH, that's their small vehicles, basically like a Corolla. We have the NX, which is pretty much one of my favorites for SUVs. RZ, which is, of course, it's electric, so I don't think there's a lot of lovers of that around here, but some people might look at it. We have the RX, which is one of the most popular kind of mid to full-size luxury SUVs. I love the RX. It's just that it doesn't give you a third row, and they've kind of gotten rid of that, the V6 that everybody loved. Unfortunately, that's gone, but the TX, the TX, turbo 2.4, I'm not feeling it. It's feeling more like a minivan to me. It's a little big. There's the GX. So the GX is one of those models that I love it. 3-row, powerful V6 turbo engine, beautiful. But the problem is I'm going to wait. I would not buy this right now, and I'll tell you why. What's been going on with Lexus is they've been struggling. Same thing with Toyota with that new V35A, twin turbo V6. And this has that same engine. It's been added to the list of vehicles with engines that are failing. So there's over 100,000 vehicles recalled right now. And unfortunately, the GX has that same engine. So I'm going to skip that for now. LX 600, same problem, has that same engine. And for that reason, I would skip on the LX. So one of my very favorites is the NX. Let's click into that and let's do a build your own because I want to go shopping. I truly believe this is one of the best vehicles on the market today. It's small, it's compact, it's sporty. You can get plug-in hybrids, regular hybrids, turbo sit-4s. You can get a lot of variety there. and it's a cool vehicle. I love the way it looks. It's a lot of fun. Um, what's going on? I am doing a live stream. I'm glad you can join in. Flory as well. Just got RX 450H, no turbo motor, which has proven itself already. Nice. 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, NA engine, of course, with the hybrid, plug-in hybrid. Absolutely love it. So that's what Lexus is doing well. They still carry that 2.5, and that's a great engine. And that's brings me to this conversation because looking at this, look at this vehicle. Now, I'd like all of you, please. So I'm shopping for this new Lexus, and I'd like your thoughts onto the color. We have a whole pile of colors. We have reds, and we have, what is this, infrared, available in additional charge. So you can pay extra for that. You get this nice brass color, vehicle blue. You have this dark gray, light gray, green, white, and black, or some variation. So we're going to outfit this, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on exterior color. I mean, what do you think about red? I love red. I think everything now on the street is gray and white, so it's nice to add a little flavor. What do you guys think about red? How you feeling? That bronze copper looks beautiful. I agree. That's a pretty color. Hello from New York. Hi there. Boosting. Oh, yeah. Thanks for joining in. And I appreciate all of you stopping in and saying hi and participating in this Build Your Own, because we are going shopping for one of the best Lexus vehicles right now on the market. Lexus, good choice. I love my 25 IS 600 or 5 S. What is that? 500? IS 500. V8, 472 horsepower. I love that car, by the way. I like blue, red, or green. Okay, so we have copper, blue, red, or green. So let's take a look at that. There's the copper color. Copper color. That's I love this color. I think it really stands out. Really shows the lines. It's a good looking color. The blue. The blue is a little flatter. I've noticed it doesn't have that metallic, that depth, but it's a nice color. Blue stands out nice. I like the blue. How about the green? How's the green look? I don't know if I've seen one in green before. Hey, I like that army green. What do you guys think? Green? What do we feel in there, everybody? Light blue, red, or green? Anything metallic or pearl are hard to touch up. 100%. If you ever have a little fender bender or a scuff, metallic paint is always hard to match. So from a maintenance perspective, metallic paints are kind of a bit of a pain, but they look absolutely spectacular. So if you're going to get metallic, I would say you want to get PPF on there. Anything metallic. Over here, they won in stock 64,000 euros, bronze copper color, green. So more green, more copper selections there. Yeah, this is such a gorgeous color. Copper. Okay, well, we got a couple greens, reds. I like the blue, but you're buying it, not me. So, okay. Well, I mean, I respect all of your choices, and they're all great. I'd probably personally, I'm just going to steer away from things like gray and white because I feel like they look very industrial, and honestly, they've been overdone. That's kind of, to me, I like white in certain vehicles, but I'm not feeling it over here in Lexus land. I do like the copper. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous color. So good call on that one. Let's just see. Let's stick with the copper then. Okay, white. I like the blue myself. White color has been problematic with peeling. Ooh, that's good to know. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that. Sometimes certain hues, certain batches of paint can be a problem. It's good to know. Gordon says, my choice would be an NX regular hybrid in red. But the big question is, how long do you have to wait? I looked into a Corolla Cross, 15 months to wait. I love wagons, but not enough to, yeah. That's been a problem for Lexus and Toyota for a while here, is getting some of their hybrid cars to the market. And back in, what was it, 21, 22, it was actually, people had to wait a year and a half to 2 years for some of these. So, okay, yeah, here's what we're going to do. I really love the red. I really love the red. Let's do this. Let's do red. I don't know if it does something different for the interior, but let's stick with that, okay? Now, what about the interior color? What do we click into the interior? And We have, oh, what a gorgeous color, eh? So here, you can go, no, not a compatible. I can't do the light colors like this. Maybe in the higher trim vehicles. How about black? All black. How you guys feeling about the black interior? See, it looks like it gives you a white roof line. Look at that. Hey, sunroof. Hey, look at the headlight, the lights there. I love this big slider. Black is nice. It wears well. So if you're worried about resale, everybody loves black interiors. I mean, most people probably like something different, but it's like oak, right? You're building your house. Everybody puts basic oak or maple in their house because it's easy for resale. Black's easy. It wears well, easier for resale. And I look down there. Hey, look at the seats. This is great. Fart-proof seats. Hey, you know what? Easy to clean up. If you drop your French fry from McDonald's, you're going through the drive-through. It looks like it's tight in there, so it looks like maybe your fries won't fall between there, which is good. And then the cup holders, I see we had a couple of cup holders there, and I love this. Look at the controls on this vehicle. You definitely can't go wrong here. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit there. Let's zoom in. Oh, yeah. Look at this. See? We got some plugins. So this is the NX, right? So right now, we've essentially picked the NX 350 Premium all-wheel drive. Maybe we should try another one. Maybe we should try... Actually, you know what? I wonder... Why don't we back this out here a bit? Change vehicle. Why don't we go in and pick, because I like this is the one I would buy right here. I would buy hang on, where was that? I saw it earlier here. Plug-in hybrid right there. I'm going to go pick the plug-in hybrids. This is not letting me pick that. X that, nix that. Let's go plug-in hybrid. Here we are. Okay. Plug-in hybrid, 450h plus. Let's start this again. That's easy. Okay, we'll pick our colors. We went with a red exterior. And oh, look, it gives us different colors because this is a premium. And we've got the F Sport. See, that's the difference, everybody. F Sport handling, all-wheel drive. Right there. That's the baby. Now we're talking. I had the wrong car pulled up. The 450h plus sport handling all-wheel drive. And I've explained this vehicle before because the 450h plus, what that gives you is Lexus's best, in my personal opinion. You get the 2.5 liter NA 4-cylinder, but it's a plug-in hybrid. So you get all that extra performance with the electric boosting it up. But you can also run as, I believe it's 50, 60 kilometers or 30, 40 miles on electric alone. So if you're driving around in the summertime, you're able to just drive this vehicle around, do short trips to work, and run your errands, and just plug it in when you're at home. And you could literally go all summer with not even barely using any gas. All right. Let's see. Like the Mazda CX-90 better. It looks masculine. I like the CX-90. Good call on that. I want an SUV, siblings, 3 rows, stowaway seats. Yeah, this one doesn't have 3 rows. The only 3 row I think you can get is the TX and the GX. You can get 3 row in Lexus land. I like the 2-tone interior rather than black. Okay, I think we're going to switch that up here too. I agree with you. I like that. My mom has those guards that slide between the seats and console that prevent things. Yeah, like we have one too that we put in one of our cars, and it's got a little guard there, but we actually have one that also has this thing that flips over, and you can put some cup holders in there too, but it also kind of fills that space. So it's kind of nice to do that. Red and black go together. Red trimmed interior available to go in the red exterior. Yeah, great choice. Let's do that. Okay, so how about this? Let's switch this. Now we're in the 450h plus sport handling. So good call. Look at that. Look at that, everybody. Oh yeah, now we're talking. This is the beauty. Look at that quality, the styling in there. I've always loved the way Lexus kind of Piecemeals, they're red and they're black and they've kind of blended up together really nice. I mean, look at the stripe. See, so you get the racing stripes just in case you have a little mishap on you don't make it home on time. You're able to clean that up nicely. See, they do that in black. I'm trying to be funny. I know I'm not that funny, but realistically, it's a nice touch. Couple cup holders. Let's zoom in on this and see what we got going on here. Again, we got some plugins, a couple of cup holders here. So even this area is easy to clean up. You can pull these inserts out to clean them up. We have all kinds of nice little controls. See, what I like about this vehicle, even though there's some of the new tech, you still got some knobs. You still got some buttons. And that's what a lot of us are missing in a lot of the vehicles today, are the fact that a lot of these vehicles just don't have all the knobs and buttons anymore. I mean, look at even the steering wheel. You still have a lot of like hard click buttons that click, 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 and not just haptic or capacitive controls. I love that. Look here, all switches, like switch, switch, switch. Really cool stuff. Look at the speakers, the quality. And when they blend this up with different colors and texturing, it looks absolutely delicious. So let's just back this out and take a look. See, I love the looks of this. Of course, you get the black headliner, which is kind of nice. It really draws in that focus to the interior like that. You'll notice it really brings out the red, because if you have that dark all the way around, it just looks spanky, right? Doesn't that look spanky? I love that. What do you guys think? Let's see what the comments we got here. EVs don't do well if you live near salt water, especially during a hurricane. Yeah, I could see that being a real big problem for sure. You don't want anything electrical getting shorted out. If you personally owned a 21 Acura RDX A-Spec all-wheel drive and you had a choice of a 22 RX 350 all-wheel drive premium, 3.5-liter V6, or a 23 Lexus 350 all-wheel drive premium, 2.4-liter four-cylinder. Well, let's put it this way. I think I prefer the V6s in Lexus land. I always have. That being said, they're going away and they're harder to come by. You've got to backdate a little bit. This vehicle never really came that way. You've got fours and hybrids and turbos and all kinds of things, but it's all pretty much four cylinders in these vehicles. So I guess there's not a lot of choice. But you know what? I do agree. And I love the RDX. By the way, if any of you are thinking, hey, you're asking yourself the question, what would you rather have? You know, an Acura, say RDX, or an Acura MDX, or maybe a Lexus? I'm going to answer a little bit of those questions this week, because actually a couple of videos I've got coming out this week, I'm going to be sharing my favorite Acura vehicles, the only 3 that I would buy right now, and 3 Acura vehicles I would skip for 2026. I would run from them. There's 3 that I would absolutely have nothing to do with. And I share those today, or not today, this week. So be sure to come back and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notifications bell, turn on all your notifications, because if you're comparing Lexus and Acura, this week's going to be a fun one for you. So definitely want to check that out. Yes, red car with red and black interior. Beauty. Thanks. I agree. You know, and a lot of people play it safe. A lot of people like to go with the white on black, or, you know, black on black, or, you know, keep it simple, gray with, you know, a black and two-tone, you know, like sometimes people are a little bit nervous of putting themselves out there and they want to get into something that's kind of like mainstream. But I've always believed in kind of spicing it up. And that's why, you know, life is too short to drive boring cars. Bring the fun, right? Bring the exciting and make it kind of interesting. So what do we got here? We have, I heard IS 500 can be bargained now that sedans are going away. You could probably find some good ones, even secondhand. Yeah, it's unfortunate, because not just the sedans, but look on the Lexus sites, and there's really not a lot to select from anymore in the way of cars. The LC 500 is going away. The IS, I think, is on borrowed time, and it's a shame. Remember the GS? That went away a few years ago. That was their version of sort of 5 Series BMW, and it was a rear-wheel drive, kind of a sportier sedan. I love the GS, and it was one of the most reliable vehicles that Lexus had too. It's too bad. It's just sad it went away. What about the Genesis brand? Well, we will be talking about those, and I'm going to be doing more build your owns every Monday. Be sure to hit this subscribe, right? Because I'm going to create a series. This is going to be an ongoing series. I'm shopping as well for new vehicles, and I'm going to be trying everything. I'm going to be shopping, pricing out some of my favorite vehicles on the market today. So I'm going to be doing a lot of build your own and pricing of a lot of these vehicles, and I'd like your help with that. So what about the Genesis? I think the GV70 is kind of a nice SUV. Um, they have nice style. I love the quilted seating. They kind of have a unique kind of a. They look very almost exotic. They have sort of have a Bentley front end kind of thing going on there, but they're pretty cool. Red and black on our Italian thing. You betcha. I love Italian cars, Ferraris. What can you say? I've got a soft spot. I love the Italian cars. I have the dark green NX plug-in. Love that color. Thanks, Robert. Hey, what are you thinking about the plug-in? You said the plug-in NX 450h plus. How do you find that in summer, winter? How do you find the functionality of the plug-in? I'd like to hear from you because, I mean, I've driven these, but I just don't know to live with it. I mean, is it as simple as plugging it in, driving it around for all, and plug it in again when you get home, and using very little fuel? Is it as you have you found it to be that simplistic? Um, Let me just see here. Let's go. Let's go back to the configurator. And oh, look, now we can spec some other options. All right. So, what do you think? F Sport, 20-inch split 5-spoke wheels. Gorgeous. Oh yeah. Why don't we select? Oh, they are selected. That's a default rim. So with the F Sport, it looks like you can only get the 20-inch dark gray metallic finish. And you all know when I say gunmetal gray, I love the looks of the Lexus wheels, and they use those gunmetal gray wheels. I love the style. Okay, what other kind of options do we have? Wireless charger. So you can use a wireless charger. Let's just go down in here, and there's probably a capability. So it's not factory. It looks like it's an option. So there's a wireless charger down here. I'm hoping, am I in that screen? Yeah, I'm covering. Oh, yeah, I'm covering that up. Here, let me just roll that up a bit here for you. Wireless charger, $75. What do you think? I think we need that. Yes, we do. You need a wireless charger. Let's be honest. You got your cell phone, you got to have a place to plug that in, right? So let's do the wireless charger. I think that's an option that's would be missed. Digital key requires remote connect subscription, 3-year trial included. Remote digital key. What do you guys think of subscription services? Come on, let's be honest. Drop a line there, everybody. Toyota Crown V12 can be imported now into Canada. And plugins are great if you have solar panels. Yeah, absolutely. But what do you think about that digital key for $375? Gives you 3 years, and then it's a subscription after that. You know me, I'm not a fan of subscription services, and I think, to be honest, that's one of the biggest scams this side of the Rocky Mountains. So, I like the feature. I like some of that tech, but I'm not paying for it. If my shit's wired in for that, like BMW, they tried that heated seat subscription thing for a while. I said, you're done. You've lost me. It's over. Now, I think they've retracted. And a lot of these OEMs like Volvo, and they've all kind of looked at this, and customers said, the hell with that. And a lot of them decided just to kind of retract because customers were getting mad. And rightfully so. Why? If you've got wiring, you got a module and the wiring there for it, why would you have to pay extra for subscriptions? Makes no sense to me in any way, shape, or form. So, What's going on here? Okay, well, what else? The panoramic view monitor. Let's add that for $800. Front cross traffic alert and lane change assist, $270. I think that's necessary. Panoramic glass roof. Bring it. Yep. Gotta like that big glass roof on there. And let's just see here. Can I see that? Can I see that? No. Advanced park. No, I don't need that. 2,000 pound towing capacity. Additional equipment required. I don't think so. How about advanced park with remote park? No, don't need that. Accessories, activity mount. Yeah. I'm always taking my bike around. All-weather cargo. Yep. You like that mat in the back. And what else do we have here? Body side moldings, add. And the cargo net, add. Okay. How about dash cam, door edge film by 3M. They charge you $100 for that? Oh, no. That's silly. Drive Connect trial, door edge guards. Nope. I always said, get your PPF outside the third party. No point in paying extra there. Drive Connect trial offer, F Sport illuminated door sills. Hey, I like that. Let's do that. Emergency assistance kit. Always good to have that. Roadside kit. F Sport. What? Key gloves. Okay. F Sport puddle lamps. Sure. $175. It's like while you're in there anyway, a lot of this stuff's like nickel and dime. It would cost you more money to buy that after the market. So some of it makes sense to do right now. Mud guards, absolutely. Where I live, you need that. And then we have package, all-weather cargo mat, $475. Yeah, we have sloppy conditions here. You need that stuff. Package, all-weather floor liners, all-weather. Okay. What else we got here? Okay, well, let's add this. Floor liners. I like anything that's going to help it take the wear and tear in the wintertime. So there's a lot of goodies here. I think rear bumper protector. I'm going to put 3M on there. Rear puddle lamp. No, that's pointless at the back. Serious trial. No, that's subscription. Tow hitch, wheel locks. Wheel locks, that's a good idea. Too many criminals around here these days. CarMate 360 installation. No, I'll go third party with that. Dash cam, third party. Some of this all junk third party stuff now. Let's finish the build. Now, we have the grand total, everybody. Drum roll. What do we have? $69,697,000. Now, unfortunately, you're adding admin fees, taxes, registration, and all the other costs that go with that. That means that's an expensive car to buy. So you get $70,000 US dollars, a US website. So now you're about $100,000 Canadian for this vehicle. A fully decked out 450H Plus F Sport with a pretty nice selection of extras and odds and sods. I got to tell you, that's not cheap. But this is definitely one of those Lexus vehicles. If you've been looking for a Lexus vehicle or you're looking for any mid-size compact luxury SUV, this has got you covered. I think the 450h Plus is nice because it's the plug-in hybrid. Without going all electric, you have the ability to drive around. There's no limitations where you plug and how you get around. You don't have to worry about constantly be tethered to a pole. So it works for me. It's peppy. It's reliable because it's using that 2.5. There's no turbos there. And it's nicely decked out. It's a good looking little vehicle. I love that. I love that. Look at the interior. Look at that. So what do you guys think? I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. And again, as always, be sure to check out that video I just did recently. I'll share the link to that as well, about the video of the only 3 Lexus vehicles that I would actually buy today. Anyway, the only vehicles that you should buy or could buy or would probably want to buy in Lexus land, given that they've had some engine issues. Some of the vehicles aren't really my vibe. This one is. And so please do drop a line. I'd love to hear from you. Hope to see each and every one of you, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Let's see here. I got to turn this off. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. I just reconnected. Hopefully, you guys got a chance to see that, and I walked through that. So we just picked apart a whole pile of options on that. One of the few Lexus vehicles that I would actually own, and I would say the NX 450h Plus was just such a vehicle, and I love that vehicle. I drove a few of those variations there recently, and I drove the 350 and I drove a 450h Plus, and I've driven a few of them, and I think they're great SUVs out there. I think in the market currently, with everybody going with these turbo threes and some of these floppy little engines that aren't lasting or holding up, I think Lexus actually offers a great solution, and the Lexus NX 450h Plus is just that solution. It's one of those vehicles that you know what? I fell in love with it because it's just got the right size. I mean, it's basically built on a RAV4 platform. I mean, some people are going to take that as a little bit of a drawback. They're going to say, well, why would I spend all that money if I can just go buy a RAV4? We know RAV4s are probably the most popular, one of the most popular small SUVs on the market right now. But the Lexus is, in fact, one of those that, you know, adds that element of luxury, the style of it, and there's some great technology. But the plug-in hybrid aspect gives you a functionality that is hard to match. Not everybody wants any of that electrified business, but the fact that it still has some, you know, garden variety push buttons, some knobs and buttons and dials, even though it's kind of blended in with a little bit of the new style tech, it's not gone over the top. And I love the styling, the two-tone interiors with some of the options, the gunmetal gray wheels. And honestly, the 450 was one of my faves, but I also drove the 350. And there's a 350h, which is kind of a light hybrid, but there's a 350, which is the 2.4 turbo, more or less in base trim, and the 350 is actually a relatively nice package. And in some cases, a lot of people end up buying the 350 just because there's a belief that, you know, like you won't get your money back with the plug-in hybrid. You just won't, right? It's just, the fact is you're paying a lot extra money for, honestly, you're paying a lot extra money for that plug-in hybrid capability, really. And you know what? That doesn't always represent the best value or best bang for buck, you know, but ultimately, here, I'm going to share this again, share the screen, and I'm going to share this again one more time. Looking at the screen here, a lot of times people, if you look at the pricing of the NX. The NX is absolutely a great vehicle in any format. The reason I go with the 450h Plus is because of that free range. But a lot of people don't find the value there because you have to ask yourself, look at the base 350. The base 350 is $46,000. If you get the 350 premium or luxury, you get some nice trim updates and things like that. Or you get the F Sport, which is really nicely outfitted. And the 350 is still that 2.5, or sorry, that 2.4 liter turbo 4. Did you realize that's the same engine that they're putting in the Tacoma and a lot of their bigger vehicles, the 4Runner? So that engine's the same engine. And we know that they've had some problems with their V6, but the 2.4s haven't been that bad. But look, you get the F Sport 350, which is the package I would get, 52 grand base price, versus when we look at this, the plug-in hybrid. Where is the plug-in hybrid? Right here. 52,000 versus the F Sport for the 450. That's 64,000. 64,000 versus 64 minus 52. We've got $12,000 difference. And you have to ask yourself how much fuel you're going to save when the average consumer is spending about $2,000 to $3,000 a year in fuel costs. Even if you're driving it on full electric range, that's 6 or 7 years of driving if all of you did was use the full plug-in capability of that hybrid, if it actually makes sense. Sorry, is the screen black? Are you guys able to see the screen again? Thanks, Flory252. It looks like I've got the screen back. I don't know. Can you guys see the screen? Can you see the screen again? I've got the Lexus Build Your Own back up. Any other comments? Are you guys able to see the screen? Anybody? Awesome. Cool. Okay, thanks again. I see it now. Right on. Yeah, I don't know what was going on. A little glitch and gremlin again. You know what? With kids in the house and they're running all their gaming systems, and seems like we've had some problems on and off, but we're back. Perfect. So if you look at these vehicles, you've got to ask yourself, from the F Sport here to the F Sport with the 450 plug-in hybrid, ask yourself, is it worth that $12,000? That's 6 or 7 years of free range of electric driving. Most people aren't. It's usually a combination of 30%, 40% might be EV or that portion. So it just doesn't seem to add up. And most people you talk to say like they'll never make up that cost differential. You'd probably have to keep the car for 10 to 15 years before the plug-in hybrid aspect actually gains you that leverage. And so it doesn't seem to really matter. So from what I see, it's almost better just to, if you want to get into the NX for most people, the base model is probably like, I honestly, this is a good model. I mean, even this, $46,000 gets you an all-wheel drive 350. And the 350 is going to give you that same 2.4 turbo as you're getting here. So look at this. You've got a $6,000 difference. If you don't care about options and you're okay getting the base trim, I mean, let's take a look at the base. What does the base vehicle get you? Is this possibly, I would prefer the one with the luxury above the sport. You'd prefer the luxury trim? Okay, we can back that out. Luxury. Okay, luxury. Right here, 52 grand. But the luxury is almost the same price, over the F Sport. Okay, so some people, because it gives you different features for color, interior bits and things. So the luxury is basically top trim level as well, or the sport. Kind of depends whether you like the luxury vibe. They'll give you different wheel package. I mean, what does the luxury give you? Let's take a look. Look at the interior color on the luxury. You get some nice two-tone. What about the wheels? What do they do for the wheels? You get an 18-inch is standard with a 20-inch upgrade for $1,300. So 18-inch. So what if we back that out and we go with the F Sport? We know is only a 20-inch wheel, but What about the F Sport for interior colors? See, only a couple of options. So when you go with the F Sport, they really limit you in your options. The luxury gives you some different color choices. And honestly, I think that's nice. I think it's nice to have different options like that. So why don't we back out? Cancel that. Why don't we? Let's not do that. Let's go back here. What about this? The base 350 all-wheel drive. Look, you still get three color choices. Let's go with a blue. And see, let's go with the blue. And then let's go with the interior two-tone and see what the interior with a base. This is base model. $46,000, folks. Remember, the average transaction price for a vehicle today is at $50,000. So you're below the average transaction price. But look at that. I love that saddle brown look. What a gorgeous thing. Look at that. Wow. Now, I can tell you when you go to the base model, you give away some of the features. I don't think you get the split rear seating here. It looks like you don't. You get a pass through maybe, but you don't get the split seats. I know also down in here, if you look down at the back, when I got in, you could not get heated seats. When you go into the luxury trim, I think F Sport, you can get rear heated seats. You can get some plugins, but in this base trim, you do without. So it's very basic at the back. Passengers at the back don't get all that treatment, all the good treatment. But you know what? If you just need a nice, reliable commuter, this has the same engine, much of the same features. And what about wheels? See, you can't even upgrade. So the basic 26, the basic model only gives you the 18-inch wheels. You can't even upgrade to the 20s. So if you want the 20s, you're going to have to step up your model. But does that matter? For $46,000, I mean, you're on Toyota Camry territory almost with that. And, they don't give you, there's some options here. Well, there's always these fidgety options, all these little extras that I don't think that's really worth it in my opinion, but to each their own. But it gives you lots to choose from. So that's cool. But you know what? $46,000 seems to be a great way to go. Now, what about the regular hybrid? Some people like the hybrid systems that come and go and the regular H. That way, it gives you, in a lot of cases, the 2.5, but not plug-in, but it's the hybrid systems that kind of comes and goes. A lot of people there's just a regular hybrid that's kind of a smaller battery, hands-off, and it's just an easier vehicle to own. How about that? How about the regular hybrid? You guys like the regular hybrids? And when you look at the pricing, so you go with the base hybrid 350h. Oh, front wheel drive, 45,000. You see, now they're adding the front wheel drive because it probably gives you the electric drive and some other. It's bizarre, but anyway, it doesn't seem to me like that's where you want to go. You actually want to start right here. $47,000 for the base all-wheel drive 350h, 47,000 versus the 46,000 for the base 350. But now, instead of having that turbo 2.4, you get a hybrid, an NA engine. Why don't we take a look at this? Why don't we show the details of this one? This one here, what do we get here? 8-way. Does it tell us the kind of engine we get here? 240 combined horsepower. Doesn't really give us. See, heated front seats, intuitive parking assist, Lexus safety system, power open close rear door, 8-way power adjustable seats, dual climate control, Lexus interface, some nice features. 0 to 67.2 seconds. It's not going to blow your doors off, but it's going to be fun to drive. But hey, that's a good feature. Why don't we do that? Let's go back to the regular and let's see what performance numbers. I've always said that the plug-in hybrid gives you way more power. Right? I don't like driving around getting beat when driving in my luxury car and getting smoked by little Corollas, Camrys, Civics. I mean, you're driving a luxury vehicle. You should have a car or a vehicle that's powerful enough to. To me, that's part of the luxury, right? Some people think luxury is a vehicle that doesn't constantly break down. That to them is a luxury. Some people like the way they look, the feel, the style, the amenities, the technology. That's luxury. Other people like luxury and associate it with big, powerful twin turbo V8s or twin turbo V6s and power and performance, or all of the above. So, enough about me rambling on there. Why don't we take a look here and look at the performance between a base all-wheel drive, 0 to 60, 6.6 seconds. Wow. You know why that is? Because that gives you the 2.4 turbo versus the hybrid gives you the 2.5 NA with a hybrid. So that's why it's a slower rig with the regular hybrid. So if you want a peppier experience, you go with the base trim 350. But if you really want to light your fire and you really want to show who's boss, king of the hill, then you get the 450h all-wheel drive. Let's take a look at the performance. 6 seconds. Now you're at 6 seconds. So because it utilizes that 2.5, which is NA, but it uses a lot more battery and a lot more electric motor. So it really gives it that extra oomph. And you're getting a lot more of that electrified push because it's plug-in. Plug-in generally give you a lot more power. I mean, look at the Ferrari 296. That's a plug-in hybrid. All kinds of fast because it's plug-in, because the battery's bigger, the motor's bigger. The regular hybrid doesn't work like that, not in the same way. But the H Plus, 6 seconds, 0 to 60. So to me, that's worth it, right? To me, that's what the game is all about. But, you know, when you look at the pricing regime here, I look at, you've got to go all-wheel drive. Honestly, to me, if I'm buying an NX, which I truly think is one of the best luxury, small luxury vehicles on the market today, I truly believe that you either go with the base. I mean, unless you want all those color choices, but you can still get some nice choices here. You go with the base with the 2.4 turbo, or you go all the way in with the plug-in hybrid. To go with the regular hybrid, some people like it because it's hands-off and it gives you a little extra fuel economy. Because here, how about this? Why don't we compare that? Combined MPG, right? On the base, 2.4 turbo gives you a 24 combined MPG, miles per gallon, right? With the base trim. Okay, what about the regular hybrid? What about the regular hybrid all-wheel drive? 39 combined miles per gallon. 39 versus the 30 versus, let's just dump that. Let's go with the regular. 39 versus 24. Big jump in fuel economy going with the hybrid all-wheel drive over the standard 2.4 turbo. Now, what about the H plus? What about the H plus, 450 H plus? Why don't we take a look at that? Plug-in hybrid. Why don't we see what kind of mileage you get with that? 84 mpge. 84. Why is that? Because there's an average, blended average, how they calculate how much you use actual plug-in portion versus how much, the hybrid picks up. Sometimes it might use a lot more electric only. Sometimes it shuts off the engine altogether. And that's why the E version here, the pure electric, gives you a lot more electric drive only. And when you're in hybrid mode, it tends to swing a lot more, especially in the city, short drives, when you're not accelerating really hard. It tends to utilize a lot more electric and only comes on gas when you're hitting the highway or you're exceeding about 85, 90 miles per hour. Then it needs to turn on the gas to charge the batteries. It also needs the extra performance. So that's why with the plug-in hybrid, you can get up to 84 mpga to get that level of performance. And that's why when we talk about the combined fuel difference, when the average person's using $2,000, $2,500 a year on fuel, a lot of it comes from a regular ICE vehicle. But as soon as you step up the game and you trim your fuel consumption cost down by 25% or 20, you trim it down to 20% of what it normally would be, you can see how you're starting to make up that. Instead of maybe $2,000 a year, you might only spend $200, $300 a year. You see kind of how that works? And because a lot of these vehicles, especially for city commutes, you're going to use a lot less fuel. And that's a big reason why I was looking at the 450H Plus. The problem was it's a bigger battery, the microprocessors, the chip shortages. We know that it was very hard to get those for a while. So are you guys still on board? Are you able to still hear me? I'd like to hear from you guys. What would your choice be? Would you go plug-in hybrid, regular hybrid, or just like the regular gas turbo, like gas jobby? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Because again, if a person's out shopping, what are you buying? Are you buying, the biggest bling, the latest tech, or you just want something as simple as possible? You guys drop a line over there. I'd love to hear from you. Like, see what you guys are all feeling. Clear all. Are you feeling all-wheel drive, hybrid, plug-in hybrids? I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. If you guys are feeling it, what's your overall? See all the right here, all the all-wheel drive now. Now we can compare them all into the one page. So we have the regular base trim, the hybrids, and the plug-in hybrids. So what would your choice be? What would your choice be? Hide those details. What would you guys prefer? Anybody feeling plug-in hybrid or just go with the base trim? Let's see here. Okay, well, you know what? I think we're going to call it today. But thanks, you guys. I do appreciate you kind of offering up some of the recommendations for the colors and the trim levels. It's cool. I love it. It's great. Because when we go shopping, it's nice to, you look at every car kind of for its own, its own merit, right? When you see a million white cars out there, you want something different, right? I mean, we want to make sure that if you have something that you're buying and you're spending this kind of money, $70,000, $80,000 for, that at some level, you're going to say, when you're walking out of that car and you're looking back as you're heading into the store, you're taking that second, third look at that vehicle, then you're realizing that, yeah, I bought the right car. And a lot of times, it's a color choice. It's the size of wheels. Sometimes it's just that combination, you hit it. So anyway, I want to touch base on this with all of you and let you know that the NX is truly one of the best luxury vehicles right now in the smaller SUV segment. And I really do appreciate you stopping in. Remember, I'm going to be trying to do this. We're going to do a regular routine of doing a buy your own, like shopping for some of the latest, hottest cars on the market. And I really do hope that you can take the time to join in and offer your opinions, because your opinions and building your own, it means a lot to me. So good luck. Good luck. Go inexpensive. Okay. No, I agree. The more I look at this, the plug-in hybrids I really thought were the way to go. But I think the difference in performance isn't enough. And even the fuel economy, I don't think the payoff is there to get the payoff difference for the cost increase to go from a base 450, to go from this to this. Just to me, $59,000 base. This is 59 grand. Whereas that? Premium all-wheel drive, the plug-in hybrid for 59 grand up to from 46, 59. So it's $13,000 difference. And I'm not sure that it's worth it. I think this is a hell of a bang for buck. I think the base 350 all-wheel drive is probably one of the best vehicles out there on the market right now for luxury small compact SUVs. And I hope that helps. I hope that helps each and every one of you if you're out shopping. This is truly one of the best SUVs for luxury car owners that you could possibly find right now. But again, as always, be sure to check back this week. Be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notifications bell. And we're going to be doing a lot more of these buying cars, shopping experiences, and build your owns. Thanks again, everybody. We'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye.